Okay, moving on. Not so much a fight recap, but a very extra special moment that happened at UFC 276. Uh, Guys, we have a legend of the sport who is finally walking away uh, on the preliminary card on ESPN, ABC, and ESPN Plus in the welterweight division. Jim Miller defeated Donald Cerrone, and then after the fight, Donald Cowboy Cerrone, longtime UFC vet, he put his cowboy hat down on the canvas and put those MMA gloves, laid him down with the cowboy hat, and Donald Cerrone has officially announced his retirement. And I just want to get your guys' reaction to this news. Omar, how about you go first?
So, this is another one of those moments where I was super grateful to have been there live for. The other retirement that I could think of that I was there in person for that meant something to me at the time was the retirement of Patrick Cote. I've loved Patrick Cote. And for those of you who may not know who that is, I definitely recommend you look him up and you Google him. He was a really fantastic fighter, and so I was grateful to have been there for that moment. But, Donald Cerrone for me was one of the guys that I started watching when I first started watching MMA, specifically because of his Muay Thai and because of how he fought. I can't tell you how many. I mean, I played one of those UFC games, UFC 3 Undisputed, for those of you who might know what it is. I played UFC 3 Undisputed way too much as an early 20-year-old, okay? I was ranked in the world, I think, at one point. I used Donald Cerrone like if the man lived with me, okay? I used Donald Cerrone all the time. I loved using him in the game. I loved watching him on TV. He's one of the many reasons why I love Muay Thai, why I train Muay Thai. I've taken things from him, or tried to take things from him. Let me not be that presumptuous, but I've tried to take things from him and emulate them and add them to my game. Bro, we could be here for hours and I could just, talk about Donald Cerrone, but it is somebody that I think will be missing the MMA world. I think he'll still be around in certain aspects, but never to see him in the octagon again is a little rough as a fan. 100%. I think it's well deserved though. The man has had an amazing career. Go get those movies, Donald. I will watch them. I have watched worse movies. I got you, son. I got you. I will watch them. All love to Donald Cerrone, and I appreciate all the fights that he's given us throughout the years.
Mark, give us a word on Cowboy Cerrone and him hanging it up.
Yeah, obviously it sucks to think about the fight game without Donald Cerrone in it, but I was happy to see him do it. I think it was evident exactly what he said. It was evident that he wasn't getting up for it the way that he used to. His heart wasn't in it the same way anymore. And when that's the case, it's time to walk. So I'm happy he did it rather than – I know he wanted to get to 50 fights under the it's not the Zuffa banner anymore because obviously it's owned by, what is it, Endeavor now? But 50 fights under the WEC, UFC banner. He would have needed 2 more. This was 48, which is insane to think about. So I know he wanted to get to that, but I'm glad he didn't push it. It didn't feel like he should. I think this was the right move. I was happy to see him do it. Happy to see him standing in the octagon with his 2 kids in his arms and cowboy hats. Happy that my man Omar got to be there to see the moment. But, yeah, I mean, what can you say about this man? The walkout music, every time it hit, the iconic walkout, just the image of him in the cowboy hat, an absolute legend of the game. Definition of must-see TV. He could finish a fight anywhere, in any way, down to fight anyone at any time. The most down to fight anyone at any time fighter that we've ever seen to this point in the fight game. His Muay Thai was picture perfect. His jiu-jitsu was disgusting. His head kicks almost reached a Mirko Cro Cop level of being feared.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He may rank higher on all-time lists than some guys who wore belts. And he's one of my favorite fighters of all time. Probably my top, 5, 10 favorite fighters of all time. Maybe the most surefire non-champion Hall of Famer that we've seen in the
100%.
UFC.
100%.
And the game and us will certainly miss Donald Cowboy Cerrone.
just
Now,
to
does
add,
yeah,
real quick, just to add, for those of you out there who may have gotten into the game a little bit later, just 3 fights that just off the top of my head just came up to me, just trying to remember Donald Cerrone and just thinking back. Donald Cerrone versus Melvin Gillard. Do yourself the favor.
Yes.
Donald Cerrone versus Rick Story. That's a fucking video game. Okay? That
Yep.
shit is wild. And then last but not least, the murder that was Donald Cerrone versus Adriano Martins.
Yep,
My God.
that
You want
might
to talk
be my
about
favorite.
head kicks and neck kicks? Donald Cerrone brings him out in style in that fight. I recommend everybody go watch those fights. Donald Cerrone, baby.
Yeah.
one of the great runs in MMA history, man. That run that Cowboy made that really catapulted his popularity among the fans, where he really established his reputation as somebody who was down to fight anybody, anywhere, at any time. Was pretty much anytime he got a win, he was immediately asking to be on like the
Yep.
next card,
Yep.
like a month later, and he rattled off like
6 or 7 in a year or something like that.
8 wins, all the way up to a title shot against RDA, which he lost. And then he rattled off another 4 wins, finishing Alex Oliveira, Patrick Cote, Rick Story in a highlight, Matt Brown in a highlight.
Yeah, he had a run
his-
of 12 out of 13 wins.
Whew.
Like, he was nearly untouchable for a while there.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Just a legendary career. A lot of memorable moments in and out of the cage. He finishes 55 professional matches with a record of 36-17 with 2 no contests. An amazing record. Really something to hang that Cowboy hat on. And he will be missed as a presence in the cage. I think you're right, Omar. I think he might be pretty visible in the years to come. We're
Yeah,
going
I
to see
agree.
him front row at a lot of events and get to give him a lot more thanks and ovation. So, hey, man, Donald Cerrone, man, what a
Donald
career!
Cerrone.